Emotional maturity is often imagined as something distant and rare, like a mysterious gift a few people are born with. In reality, it looks much more ordinary from the outside. Emotionally mature souls also get tired, irritated, sad, triggered. The difference is not in never falling into old patterns. It is in how they relate to what happens inside. There is a certain way of meeting thoughts and feelings that turns life into a training ground instead of a battlefield. That posture is not magic. It is made of specific traits that can be noticed, practiced, and slowly strengthened, like muscles that grow with daily use. This exploration walks through 12 traits emotionally mature souls tend to share, not as a checklist to judge or diagnose, but as a mirror. Each trait can show where maturity already lives quietly and where there is room for growth without self-hatred. Emotional maturity here is not about perfection or superiority. It is about a way of being with self, others, and life that brings more clarity, less unnecessary suffering, and a deeper sense that the soul is actually present in its own story. The first trait is simple to describe and difficult to live: the capacity to observe inner life. Emotionally mature souls are able to notice thoughts and feelings almost as if watching weather pass through the sky. There is an inner witness that can say, "A storm is here," without becoming the storm. When anger rises, there is enough space to register anger in the system rather than immediately attacking. When shame appears, there is a small gap where it can be seen. This is shame speaking, not absolute truth. This observer is not cold or distant. It is a quiet presence that keeps a hand on the steering wheel while the waves move. This capacity usually grows from years of paying attention, journaling, therapy, contemplative practice, or simply honest self-reflection. It proves that awareness is itself an emotional skill. The second trait is responsibility without self-hatred. Many people, when they realize they have hurt someone or repeated an unhealthy pattern, fall into extremes. Either total defense, nothing wrong here, or total collapse, everything is wrong here. Emotionally mature souls take ownership in a different way. They can say, "Yes, this action was mine. Yes, it had impact. Yes, apologies and repair are needed," without turning it into an identity verdict like, "Therefore, this is fundamentally awful as a being." They treat mistakes like behaviors to be corrected, not proof of being unworthy. This does not mean softness or avoiding consequences. It means holding self to a standard while refusing the inner violence of constant self-attack. In that space, growth is possible because shame is not driving the car. The third trait is a growing ability to feel fully without drowning. For emotionally immature parts, feeling means catastrophe. If sadness is allowed, it will never stop. If anger is felt, destruction will follow. Emotionally mature souls slowly discover that emotions are waves, not permanent states. They allow grief to pass through, sometimes with tears, sometimes in silence, knowing that this is the nervous system digesting experience. They let themselves feel anger as energy and information, without needing to explode or suppress. They can sit with fear long enough to ask what it is actually trying to protect. This is not because emotions are always pleasant, but because they no longer look like monsters. They look like visitors that carry messages and then leave. A fourth trait is the ability to ask for help without collapsing into helplessness. Many carry an old belief that needing help equals weakness, incompetence, or burden. Emotionally mature souls learn that asking for help is a form of honesty and relational trust. They recognize when the nervous system is overwhelmed, when perspective is too narrow, when resources are not enough. In those moments, they reach toward therapy, friendship, spiritual practice, community, or professional support without shame. At the same time, they do not outsource all responsibility for their life to others. Help becomes a support for their own agency, not a replacement for it. This balance, help is needed, and this life is still mine to walk, is a sign of deep maturity. The fifth trait is not personalizing everything. Immature emotional patterns often place the self at the center of every story. A neutral tone is read as rejection. Someone else's stress is secretly about this. Silence is assumed to mean judgment. Emotionally mature souls begin to see that much of what happens around them is not a commentary on their worth. A short reply may be because the other person is exhausted. not because affection is gone. A manager's bad mood may reflect pressure from above, not specifically failure. This does not mean ignoring real harm or disrespect. It means not automatically translating every external movement into "this proves something about me." The ability to pause and consider other explanations lightens the load the heart carries. A sixth trait is a calm relationship with boundaries. For some, no is fused with guilt, fear of abandonment, or storylines about being selfish. Emotionally mature souls understand that boundaries are simply descriptions of reality. What can be given, what cannot, what is tolerated, what is not. They are able to say yes with a whole body when something is aligned, and to say no more consistently when something is heavy, draining, or against deeper values. Their boundaries are not walls where no one can approach, nor doors blown open where everything enters. They function more like a flexible gate, guided by clarity instead of by panic or obligation. Over time, this creates relationships built on respect rather than resentment. The seventh trait is a sense of humor about the ego. Emotionally mature souls do not take every inner drama at absolute face value. When the mind announces, "This is the worst thing that has ever happened," or if a reply does not arrive in 10 minutes, life is over, they can sometimes smile gently at the exaggeration. This is not mocking pain. It is remembering that part of the mind loves melodrama. A light inner comment, "The inner soap opera is very active today," can create just enough distance to prevent impulsive decisions. Humor becomes medicine, reducing intensity so that wisdom can enter. This does not negate serious issues. It simply refuses to let the loudest voice be the only one heard. The eighth trait is the capacity to hold complexity. Children's nervous systems look for simple categories: good or bad, right or wrong, hero or villain. Emotional maturity allows nuance. An emotionally mature soul can acknowledge that a person is loving in some areas and harmful in others, that a relationship can be both meaningful and unsustainable, that a decision can be necessary and still painful. They are able to say, "This hurt," and still there is gratitude for what existed, instead of simplifying into pure hatred or idealization. This capacity to hold multiple truths at once prevents the mind from collapsing new experiences into old, rigid boxes. It makes room for more honest choices. A ninth trait is responsibility for the inner state, even when outer circumstances are harsh. This does not mean pretending that injustice, trauma, or systemic pressures do not exist. It means understanding that constantly outsourcing inner peace to perfect external conditions is a recipe for permanent frustration. Emotionally mature souls ask difficult but liberating questions. Given that some things cannot be controlled, what can be done with what is here? How can regulation, support, and meaning be cultivated even while challenges exist? They do not wait for life to be entirely gentle before beginning to practice gentleness inside. This inner responsibility is not about blame. It is about reclaiming the places where choice is still possible. The 10th trait is the ability to repair. No matter how mature someone is, misunderstandings and ruptures will happen. What changes is the response. Emotionally mature souls notice when distance has grown, when words have cut deeper than intended, when withdrawal has created confusion. Instead of disappearing in shame or doubling down in defense, they approach repair with humility, acknowledging impact, listening without constant justification, and offering clearer behavior going forward. They understand that sorry without change is empty, and that change without acknowledgement can feel cold. Repair becomes a skill practiced over time, imperfect but sincere. An 11th trait is a relationship with needs that is neither denial nor demand. Many were taught that having needs is embarrassing, dangerous, or unspiritual. Emotionally mature souls realize that needs for rest, connection, meaning, respect, and expression are part of being human, not signs of weakness. They learn to identify their own needs more explicitly. There is a need for more quiet. There is a need for more honest conversation. There is a need for creative expression, and then to look for ways to honor those needs that also respect others' freedom. They do not expect every person or situation to fulfill everything. Needs become guiding signals, not accusations. Finally, a 12th trait, seeing emotional maturity itself as a lifelong practice, not a finished product. Emotionally mature souls do not walk around thinking, mission accomplished. They are usually very aware of their own edges, the topics that still trigger, the situations where patience is thin, the days when old habits roar back louder. The difference is that they do not interpret these moments as proof of failure. They see them as part of the ongoing curriculum of the soul. Each conflict, each fear, each disappointment becomes another invitation to apply what has been learned and to grow a little further. In this way, life becomes less about defending an image and more about deepening authenticity. These 12 traits are not a test to pass. They are like constellations in the inner sky, patterns that can orient when the night feels dark. Sometimes several traits will feel familiar, already present. Sometimes many will feel far away. Emotional maturity is not distributed as a secret gift to a chosen minority. It is grown, season after season, through attention, courage, humility, and practice. And because it is made of skills, observation, feeling, repairing, boundary setting, it is, by nature, learnable. As this path unfolds, small, consistent experiments matter more than grand declarations. A few extra seconds of observing before reacting. One honest "no" said with a steady voice. One moment of asking for help instead of silently drowning. One instance of choosing not to take something personally when other explanations are possible. Over months and years, these quiet moves accumulate. The soul begins to feel less like a passenger and more like a wise presence walking alongside the life it is living. If these traits of emotional maturity resonate, that recognition itself is a sign that something in the system is ready to grow in this direction. Subscribing keeps this kind of exploration close when old habits feel louder. Liking this video helps these ideas reach other souls who sense they are capable of more inner clarity than the world has ever mirrored back. Sharing it with someone already on a path of self-knowledge can give language to what they are becoming. And if one trait felt particularly alive or particularly distant while listening, naming it in the comments can be the first conscious step in training that part of emotional maturity on purpose.